Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome back to this Ferrari challenge. We're back with episode 5 today. It is race 6, it's the German Grand Prix. It's going to be a one race episode today. What we're going to try and do is try and sync these back up now, so we're on the 6th one. That means we can do 2 races up until the end of the season, so next time we'll have Monaco, Silverstone, after that we'll have Monza and Spa, and then Austin, and then the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, and so on and so forth, right to the end. So then we can finish with Sao Paulo and Bahrain right at the end. As I said, we've got Hockenheim coming up this time. Obviously that is Vettel's home Grand Prix, so it is going to be, should be a race that he wins. He won it last year, but then again PEREZ does have the better car, and PEREZ is going to sort of, well, we're going to give him preferential treatment. If you watch the last episode, the last race, PEREZ was pretty much on course for winning that race. It was going to possibly be his second win of the season, but the safety car just came out at the right time for Vettel, that he managed to make the pit stop work around the safety car. Sort of gave him the advantage, gave PEREZ, it lost PEREZ his advantage that he had with the softer tyre, in that it sort of threw his pit stops out. So this time out PEREZ is going to get preferential treatment with the pit stops. It's going to be his race. It's going to make it pretty hard for Vettel here to get his win in Hockenheim. Vettel obviously won't be happy with that, but not in the game, but in real life you could imagine him being pretty unhappy with that. He's supposed to be the #1 driver, but we'll try to give PEREZ as much of a chance as we can at clawing some distance back on Vettel here. Obviously, as you see, we're a little bit away from building the scouting centre. That should hopefully be done. It's 3 weeks away. Should hopefully be done before Monaco, so then we can go ahead and start scouting Charles Leclerc, just see how good he is. Hopefully his marketability is above 60%, as that's what we would want from him. We have got the handling development centre, the simulator, and the telemetry centre all being built at the moment. Possibly we're going to build something else after this. We're going to get the HQ to a massive level. The HQ at the moment, we do have the 4th best HQ. Obviously the Maranello HQ, we should be up there. We want to get it somewhere near what Mercedes have got. That would be the best thing. McLaren obviously have a really good HQ. They have the best factory in the game, and obviously they have the road car factory as well. Obviously the car is still really poor here. McLaren 6 rated overall. I'm sure they still have the worst engine, because Alonso is still struggling. Yeah, McLaren still do have the worst engine because Alonso is struggling, as is Rafael Marciello having a really poor season. Although the McLaren is a little bit more reliable than the other cars. Obviously they have 8 slots to work on their reliability, so that's what has happened to them. That's been the reason why they've managed to get a few decent results, and Marciello I think has finished 11th a few times, just because of the reliability of the other cars. But anyway, we're going to jump into Hockenheim now. I don't think there's anything else to go through. Oh, just before we go, last episode, if you watched, we were trying to sign some new staff. They were both playing hardball. Both of them wanted a ton of money. Neither of them ended up accepting the last contract offer that I was willing to give them. So we're not really going to go for any new staff now. They were the only ones that could really sort of improve the pit stops, which is the only thing that I wanted to go for. They would improve the pit stops the most. They didn't want to accept, and in the end they were both wanting huge bonuses, huge upfront payments. It would have possibly cost about £600,000 a race just to bring these mechanics in, because they were both wanting bonuses. They wouldn't accept bonuses for first, so then we'd only have to pay out one bonus. So we're both wanting bonuses of £100,000 for qualifying and the race, so that's just £400,000 alone in bonuses, and that is a hell of a lot of money. Even though we're making the money, we don't really need to go overboard with the mechanics. Adami costs 57, Greenwood costs 93,000. We don't pay any bonuses out for these two at the moment, so we might as well try it. We might as well take the $500,000 rather than going with the pit stops. So other than that, that's all we've got to get into now. So I'm going to run practice, going to get through qualifying, and we'll come back when it is time for the Hockenheim Grand Prix. So here we go with the grid for the Hockenheim Grand Prix. Our two Ferraris, 1 and 2 once again. The tiniest of margins between the two cars. Again, under a tenth of a second between these two, between Vettel and PEREZ. Then on the second row of the grid, in 3rd and 4th, we've got Lewis Hamilton, followed by Daniel Ricciardo, then Carlos Sainz, followed by the other Red Bull of Max Verstappen. 7th and 8th, as usual, we've got the two Williams cars. Rosberg this time in front of Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hülkenberg and Kimi Räikkönen rounding out the top 10. As usual, again, in the two Force Indias, Then we've got Jolyon Palmer in the Toro Rosso in 11th, Fernando Alonso in the McLaren in 12th. Then we've got Kevin Magnussen, followed by Romain Grosjean. Pascal Wehrlein in the Manor in 15th, followed by Danny Kvyat in 16th in the Haas. Carmen Jorda doing a little bit better than normal in 17th in the Renault. Rafael Marciello not in last, as has been the case in a few of the other races in the McLaren car. And then rounding out the grid, we've got the Manor of Esteban Ocon. And right at the back of the grid, we've got Esteban Gutierrez in the Haas. So let's go and see what we can get out of this German Grand Prix. Hopefully we're going to get a good start here. Perez has been making a few bad starts. Hopefully that's not going to be the case here. Perez gets it off. He was a little slow off the line there, but Vettel, whilst he was quick off the line, he was a little bit slow after that, which has allowed Perez to get in front here. And now Hamilton has managed to get back in front. Well, not back in front, but he's managed to get past Vettel. And Carlos Sainz as well in the other silver arrow gets past Vettel as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to have to try and get past Sainz too. So Vettel does that pass easily. Hamilton, as usual, is really pushing his car. We're just going to see if we can get past him down the straight, because he's got his tyres here in low mode. The weather is pretty hot, so these tyres should heat up. So we're going to have to go neutral here, because what we want to do is try and do this race in two sets of the soft tyre. If we can get through to about lap 10, then that's what we can do. But what we're going to do now with Vettel, but now Sainz has managed to get back past there. Has Vettel still got the speed out of that corner? Yes, he does. He should have enough speed. What we're going to do is, as we've done before, is just sit behind Hamilton whilst he burns up his fuel in overtake mode. We've got no real need to sort of try and overtake him until he turns his engine down. The tyres warming up pretty nicely, even though we're just running them in neutral mode. And Vettel's not really dropping too far behind here. We're just waiting for Hamilton to turn his engine down. He is burning up quite a lot of fuel in these first two laps. He shouldn't go much longer than this. And there he goes. He's turned the engine back down now. We've managed to recover some fuel. We're only about a second behind. When we go back up into high mode now, we should be able to close that down pretty easily. Overtake Hamilton once we get to one of the main straights. Possibly down the pit lane. Yeah, down the pit lane straight. Vettel is right on the back of him here. Hopefully he can carry enough momentum through this corner. He tries to get up the inside there. He should have enough speed here. No, he doesn't. Vettel actually struggling a little bit this time to get past Hamilton. Hamilton making a few nice defensive manoeuvres there. It's actually a little bit nice that we can't actually pass the Mercedes too easily here. Whereas Perez is building up quite a lead that we can possibly turn him down to medium to start conserving some of this fuel for a little bit later in the race, just in case we need it. We don't need to push anything. We don't want to risk any crashes. Vettel, meanwhile, is really struggling against Hamilton here. He does have a quicker car, but I don't know whether Hockenheim is a little bit harder to get past in the game. He's having a little more trouble than usual. Usually we can just blow past this Mercedes on the straights. The only other thing that could be possible here is that the AI, the Mercedes team, have really made some improvements to Hamilton's car. He is falling behind Perez quite a little bit though, so it doesn't look like it's too quick. But Vettel really struggling here in his home Grand Prix to get past Hamilton. Should we try an overtake mode, because he's sort of holding Vettel up here, and then we can recover it once we're in front of him. We'll run high and we'll try it once we get a bit further around. Once we get around these and we sort of start hitting these straights, if we go overtake mode, maybe push the tyres a little bit more, because Vettel's going to possibly come in first. We just really need to get past Hamilton here if we want the 1-2. We don't want him holding us up too much. So if we go overtake mode, we should have tons of power in the car to easily get past him, which we did. Now we can go back to neutral and medium. And we should start pulling away now from Hamilton. Even, yeah, we should. Not too much though. It looks like the Mercedes have made some improvements to the car. We're back in 1 and 2 now. Perez, we need to get to about the 10th lap. So we got 3 more laps on this tyre. It should be easily doable. Maybe we'll try conserve the tyre with Vettel, because he's going to get the second pit stop. Perez, meanwhile, all the way out in front here. But we don't want to try and conserve too much tyre. The Mercedes already coming in, so I think they're going to go for a harder compound tyre here. Or is we're going to try to stretch this to get in for another soft tyre. Hopefully we've got the life in the tyres. I can't remember what the cliff rate is for the soft tyres. I do remember it looking it up. I can't remember if it's 15% or 20%. I know for the ultra soft and super soft it's 20%. I think for the ultra soft it's 25% maybe. 20% for the super soft, and then 15% for the soft, and then 10% for the medium, and 0% for the hard. Do want another lap out of this tyre from both these cars, just so we can get back in for another pair of softs. If we're running backup mode, we shouldn't have any problems doing that. So we're going to get PEREZ in this lap now for another pair of softs. So you can do 10 laps on that pretty easily. We'll go balance, we won't risk it. It's whether we can get Vettel out in front now. PEREZ has a ton of fuel left as well. Vettel has not too much, but we're hoping that we've got enough room. Where is Hamilton in this list? I can't even see him. All the way down in 19th? What happened to Hamilton? Why is he 83 seconds behind? What the hell happened to Hamilton there? I don't understand what happened to Hamilton there. 19th? I'm not going to be able to find out now. Maybe I can find out when I'm editing the video, but something happened there to Hamilton. PEREZ is around now, or coming around now. We'll go high. We can go neutral now. Is there enough room here? 7 seconds. That should be enough room to actually swap the tyres out. That we don't have to double stack here, do we? So we can actually get both cars into the pit on this lap. And PEREZ shouldn't hold up Vettel unless he has a bad pit stop. Just in time there. Vettel in as well. So we can go neutral. Still push a bit. Hulkenberg's coming round. He's on a wet pair of warm mediums. He's going to dive into the pits here. Yeah, Hulkenberg comes into the pit. So we've got a massive lead now. We'll have a really big lead. Hamilton, something happened to Hamilton. I'm not quite sure what happened to him there. Both our cars now just on course mode till the end of the race. We're gaining over Ricciardo, so we got a little bit of time now. Because we're just going to be like this till the end of the race, I think. Ricciardo is battling with Sainz here. There's only half a second between it, even less than that. It looks like Sainz is going to really make a move down this straight now. We'll try to stick with it for a little bit. See whether Sainz can get past Ricciardo here. Doesn't look like he can. What is Ricciardo doing? A 134.9. So Sainz is actually quicker at the moment. And PEREZ and Vettel are setting their quickest laps at the moment. Verstappen's just done the quickest lap overall, although he's all the way down in 15th himself. I don't know whether some of these cars are still having real reliability problems. But anyway, we've got Rosberg in the Williams in 5th, Bottas in the other Williams in 6th. We've got the Toro Rossos, and Alonso's just made a move on Grosjean there to get up into 8th place. I was just going to say the Toro Rossos are 7th and 8th, but they've just been split by the McLaren of Fernando Alonso. Pascal Wehrlein in the manner up in the points again here. He's defending from Kevin Magnussen. They're both on hard tyres here. Last lap Magnussen was about a second quicker than Wehrlein, and then Hamilton's slowly working his way back through the field here. He is behind Wehrlein and Magnussen, so Hamilton's possibly going to knock Wehrlein out of the points. Carmen Jordan are doing pretty well up in 13th. We do round on her pretty often in that she got that Renault seat. They've got Marcus Ericsson in the reserve seat. I think he's got about a star rating over Carmen Jordan. Max Verstappen still struggling down in 14th. He's did his last lap in a 135.6, whereas we're doing a 131 at the moment, and we're not even pushing the car here. I wonder what we could do. No, we really need to start conserving some of that fuel with Vettel, don't we, whilst we're watching all these other cars. Marciello not doing too badly. Kvyat in 15th. Raikkonen must have been having some problems with his car as well. He's all the way down in 17th himself. As is Hulkenberg as well. The Force India is really struggling this weekend again. I don't know what he's up with the Force Indias at the moment. And then we've got Esteban Ocon and Esteban Gutierrez battling it out. A long way behind here, even anyone else. They've got like half a lap behind everyone else there. But anyway, we'll get back to PEREZ now. We're on lap 17 of the race. He's just managed to lap Julian Palmer in the other Toro Rosso. He's just coming for his second pit stop. We've got plenty of tyre left. There's going to be no problems here with recovering the fuel with Vettel. He's going to have no problems with that. Point 2. I think he can recover about up to point 1 or maybe point 9 at the 0.09 at the moment. Neither here nor there. Hamilton is now back up into 8th Verline because of the pit stops from Roman Grosjean and who was the other one? Julian Palmer. That's it. Verline is still in the points here. We've got Renault in the points as well. Hamilton now is he just behind Fernando Alonso? Is he gaining on him? He's not. He's about 0.3 quicker, and he's about 1.2 seconds down. Let's just see what they're at this lap. Is he going to be any closer this time around? So Fernando Alonso does this lap in a 1:34.6, whereas Hamilton does a 1:33.066. So Hamilton about a second and a half quicker. So it looks like Hamilton's going to get 7th place back, but then there's a big massive gap then to the two Williams of Rosberg and Bottas. So Hamilton's only going to get up to 17th, which is going to allow the Red Bull, since they've got Ricciardo in the points, to gain a little bit of distance over Mercedes here. And the other Mercedes of Carlos Sainz, no, Sainz is pretty high. Sainz is in 4th, so yeah, both Mercedes are actually in the points. So that means they're probably just about equal in points here. We're coming up to the last lap now in a moment. Should we try and get the fastest? No, we're running out of tyre, but we've got enough to push overtake mode here with Carlos Sainz. We've just about got enough in the tyres. Let's just see what Perez can do if he goes in overtake mode. He just did his last lap in a 1:30.6. Obviously did a little bit in overtake mode, and that is Verline having problems with his car. He was about to score points. The Manor now has lost out here. It's allowed Verstappen to get back up into the points. Perez, meanwhile, sets the quickest first sector of the race. Half a second quicker than his last lap in the first sector. Quickest second sector of the race. He's going to set the quickest time of the race. The soft tyres have just about dropped off here, which is going to affect him. But he goes quickest there. He sets the fastest lap. That should be the fastest lap at a 1:29.6. That's an amazing lap considering what some of these other cars are doing. Vettel now comes across the line as well. Ricciardo is going to get 3rd. He's a long way back. What did we have over Ricciardo? 38 and gaining. Sainz is going to finish in 4th. Rosberg should be finishing in 5th. Yes, Bottas and Hamilton's managed to get past Alonso. Magnussen and Verstappen rounds out the top 10. And then we've got Raikkonen all the way down in last place. Raikkonen having an absolute nightmare of the season in this struggling Force India car. McLaren still struggling with one of their drivers, Rafael Marciello. I don't know whether the second McLaren is having a lot of problems with what sort of rating it's got. But another good race there. Sergio Perez beats Sebastian Vettel in his home Grand Prix. Perez found that pretty easy there. Even though he has the best car, it's not rated that highly over the one that Vettel has got. Maybe I'll give Vettel a few of the better parts. So then we can go like, maybe give Vettel 2 out of the 6 better parts. Just see how that works out. Perez did a 1:29.6. None of the other cars got under a 1:30. So excellent driving there from Sergio Perez on that last lap of the race, setting the quickest lap of the race. The fastest lap. Scrutineering, no problems there. I don't think any other cars will have any problems either. No, Kimi Raikkonen actually got lapped. We lapped all the way up to Kevin Magnussen this time. So yeah, we should be a hell of a long way. Sergio Perez is now 2 race wins away from tying things up with Vettel. I think that makes it 4 wins to 2. And we now have a massive 165 points back to Mercedes. Red Bull in 3rd, Williams 4th, Toro Rosso 5th, McLaren 6th, Renault 7th, Force India 8th, Manor Racing 9th, and Haas still struggling. And it looks like Haas will be going down to GP2. Possibly to be replaced by Racing Engineering or RGP, which should be interesting next season to see what they can do in Formula 1. So everyone's still happy. We've got new personality traits added. That's just a morale boost for finishing on the podium and winning the race. £3.5 million going into the bank as usual. Puts us all the way up to £6.7 million. Vettel 136 points. Perez 122. We've got 258 overall. All the other cars still struggling to crack the 100-point margin, which they should do in the next race. We've got Monaco coming up. But as I said, this is just going to be a one race episode, just so we bring the races in line. So then we've got 2 races for each episode going towards the end of the series. Vettel got pole, lost a race, car condition, podium, race win, hard fought win for Perez in Hockenheim. So we're still waiting on the scouting facility to be built. That should be done in the next episode. I don't think we've got any sponsors expiring. This Genai one is going soon. This one we might be able to improve on as well if we can get a 5-star sponsor in there. I think that's the only one. Sprint we can improve on. BR Petrobras we could improve on. We didn't get a really good offer there for some reason, even though we got 5-star sponsorship. Maybe even a 5-star sponsor available for that slot. But anyway, I think that is all. What are we going to do HQ wise? Should we just build one for the hell of it here? We just need the wind tunnel now, don't we? And then we've started work on every single building that we can do. It's going to cost 7 million. It's going to wipe us out here, but we're making that much money that it's not a problem for us. We're still going to be able to develop the parts and still have a ton of money and more at the end of the season for the new car. But anyway, that's it for this episode. Another 1-2. Sergio Perez this time beats out Vettel in his home Grand Prix. We're going to see if Perez can carry that on through Monaco, and I think it's Silverstone coming up. Yeah, we're going to see if Perez can carry that through to Monaco and Silverstone. He needs to win 2 more races over Vettel, and then the championship will be tied up between the drivers. It's going to be pretty interesting to see who's going to be able to win the title out of those 2 towards the end of the season. But anyway, thank you everyone for subscribing. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, leave a comment. But until next time, I will see you down the road in Monaco and Silverstone as well for those Grand Prix. And goodbye.